Hey guys, what's going on, this family of tech? And I got here on my hands the new Nikon Z6 camera. I want to tell you guys why you should consider this camera and what my experience has been for the last couple of months after using it. I've been a Sony user pretty much since I started doing photography and I've been quite happy with it. But I decided to explore and give it a try to other camera companies to see what they have to offer. And after doing a long time research and deciding between camera companies like Canon, Panasonic and Fuji, I decided to try with a Nikon Z6 to see what they have to offer, as to me it looks the most promising. Not only this camera has many features that me as a Sony user have been dying for Sony to add those for the longest time in their camera lineup, but this camera in many ways gives me a lot more, especially for the price. It's not a perfect camera though, but it's pretty a good first attempt and I'm sure it will only get better. So in this video I'm going to tell you the 5 things I think are great about this camera, and hopefully this video will help you out to consider trying out the new Nikon Z6, especially if you're in the market for a new camera. So number 1, the ergonomics, and that's probably the first thing you will notice once you pick up the Nikon Z6. The way they designed the Nikon Z6 is just amazing. The camera grip feels great to the hand and doesn't feel like it's going to fall from your hand. Every button on this camera is positioned exactly where it should be in my opinion. You have the shutter button here, it has a separate button for video and for photos. The mode dial's on the other side, so it makes it super easy to change settings without moving your finger from the shutter button. I think the design of this camera is just amazing. Number 2, and I think you're gonna love this one especially if you're a Sony user, is a touch LCD screen. Something that I still can do with my Sony A7R3 or A6400 or even the newer Sony A7R4 is to be able to change your camera settings by touching on the LCD screen without having to use any of the physical buttons. You can zoom in and out to check focus, like if you're using on a tablet. You can scroll to see your images, as you can see here. You can change anything you can think of by touching on the LCD screen. Number 3 is a time-lapse feature, and this is one of the main reasons I bought this camera. Inside the camera you have a built-in time-lapse mode that you can set to whatever time you want, and the camera itself creates the time-lapse video for you without you having to move thousands of photos into your editing software to create it yourself. It even tells you how long the video will last once created and how long it will take to do so. Having this feature alone is worth considering this camera because it's going to save you a lot of time in the editing process. Number 4 is the image quality, and this is one of the things I wasn't expecting to be this good on this camera, is the image quality that you get straight out of the camera without doing any color correction. Ever since I started using this camera, I have been bringing it more and more to my family vacations instead of my Sony cameras, because the image quality straight out of the camera is just amazing. It's not the fastest camera in the world, but for photos and videos, it's more than enough. To give you an idea, most of the images I've been getting with the Z6, I've been sharing them to social media even without doing any color correction in Photoshop, because how good they are straight out of the camera. And people keep asking me what camera is it that I'm using. And lastly, number 5 is a 5-axis in-body image stabilization. Once you start using the Nikon Z6 and start walking around with the camera, you feel like if the camera is mounted on a gimbal. It's very good, especially if you want to vlog with it or if you want to do a handheld cinematic video. I think the stabilization on this camera, compared to other cameras I've ever used, is superb. Alright guys, for a future video I will be comparing the autofocus feature on this camera, since that is probably one of the most important things on this camera, and I will compare it to the Sony system. Alright guys, that's it for today. Click the like button if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe for more camera, filmmaking and drone tutorials. See you in the next one.